Hey guys, this is a bit of a different setup. I wanted to do a fantasy video, and I was just gonna make a list and talk about it, but I figured why not join me and see my thought process while actually doing a mock fantasy draft. So, sorry this is a little late. We're actually we have the number two pick. We're gonna go with Saquon Barkley. He's pretty much the obvious number two pick. If you have number one, go with Christian McCaffrey. Um, Early tips: draft running backs early. I would say 2 to 3 running backs would probably be your go-to. Wide receivers are very easy to find later on in the draft. Like fourth, fifth round, you can still get very good wide receivers. However, you can't really do that with running backs. Sometimes a guy may get hurt and one of your backups may start for him, and that's great. That's great value. However, drafting a wide receiver very early on can be dangerous for you in the long run. So we start with Saquon. I would say the only wide receiver that should go in the first round is Michael Thomas. You can possibly argue DeAndre Hopkins, but I don't think so. I think Michael Thomas is the clear number one receiver. I think number four is too early for him, but I think he should be around like 6 or 7. So we're going to actually look for running backs. We have Saquon or Saquads. Man's got massive legs. Makes me kind of jealous, to be honest. Looking here at the guys we have available. Oh, I actually want to touch up before I queue up any of these guys down here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is probably the only rookie that will go in the first round. He was my number one running back coming out of the draft, and he really got himself into probably the best situation in the league heading to Kansas City. I don't think he was going to be the number one running back, but he definitely is now. What is his name? Sorry, Damian Williams. Damian Williams opted out of the league or out of this season due to the coronavirus. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire hops into that number one running back spot for the team, and his draft stock, at least in fantasy, has improved dramatically. First round's almost up. This is a snake draft, so since we had the number 2 pick, we won't draft again until pick 19, but we do get pick 22. So that's why I'm not really looking at some of these guys up top, but we will queue up Austin Ekeler. Usually, now that it's the start of the second round, people tend to pick up wide receivers. A guy like Austin Ekeler should be available. Joe Mixon's usually gone just from experience. Usually goes ahead of a guy like Austin Ekeler. I really like Austin. He was the number 4 running back in the league last year. Oh, and he just got drafted. Super unfortunate. But if you get he usually falls later. That's really smart of this person to pick up Austin Ekeler that early in the second round. Good for them. We're going to go for a guy like Chris Carson and maybe an Aaron Jones or Joe Mixon. I don't think Nick Chubb's going to be there when it's our turn to draft. Aaron Jones was the number 2 running back? Yes. The reason is he scored 16 touchdowns. This isn't going to happen again. This never happens again. His receiving numbers will go down. His touchdowns will go down. But I think his rushing yards will actually increase. This is quite a drop-off that they're expecting, and I'm going to disagree. I've heard from a lot of people that the Packers want to go running back, or I'm sorry, not running back, but more of a running offense. So he'll definitely get his touches. I think he'll break 1,100 yards. We're cutting it close. Joe Mixon was 13 last year with a very bad offense, but the offense has improved dramatically. So I think he's a top 10 running back this year. Chris Carson is usually around top 10. Let's see who was picked. Aaron Jones. We're gonna grab. What is playing? Oh, that was odd. I think a commercial just played for me. Hopefully you guys weren't able to hear that. Sorry about that. We get a lot of commercials just from clicking on people's names. Hopefully you guys can hear that. So, we got Joe Mixon. Sorry about that. We got Joe Mixon. I think he's going to be a top 10 running back. Ooh, hopefully you guys really can't hear the ads. I'll try to be quicker and stop these. I can't really... I tried before to stop getting these ads to play, but they just play on their own. I'm sorry. Nothing I can really do about it. Hopefully you guys can't hear it. So, Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley, great start so far. I think two guys that will definitely finish in the top 10 of running backs. We're actually going to go with another, and we're going to draft Chris Carson, which is incredible. Wow. We could have gone for a guy like Chris Godwin here, possibly Tyreek Hill, but like I said, we can find wide receivers later in the draft. It's not going to be a huge issue. And besides, I will tell you this, going running back heavy and trying to find running backs that will be starters is good to have on your team. I would recommend drafting 5 running backs. And the thing is, if you have 5 of those guys, 1, you can rotate them, but 2, you can use them for trading. This team that you draft isn't going to be your final squad. You go through a lot of waiver accusations and trades throughout the year. If you hold a lot of running backs with good value, people are going to trade you assets that you need. You're in control of that trade situation. So if you need a wide receiver, hey, I could trade Chris Carson because I'm going to have 2 more running backs on the bench that can fill in for Chris. However, I don't think that's going to be needed. A lot of wide receivers are going to start coming off the board. So we're going to start coming down, queuing a guy like Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. How did Odell do last year in fantasy? 25. Not great. Part of that is because of the touchdown numbers he got. He produced normally in terms of yards and catches. However, the touchdowns weren't there, but that's not really his fault. A lot of that sometimes has to do with outside of that player's control. Like I think there was 2 years ago, Julio Jones had led the league in receiving yards, but had like 3 or 4 touchdowns. So it happens, hard to control. But that's the risk of drafting. You never know. So we're looking for a wide receiver. I do notice that the first QB, I believe, is off the board. No, I'm sorry. Someone took Patrick Mahomes already in the 3rd round with the first pick. Guys, do not draft a quarterback early. Don't do it. It's really going to become a hindrance for you. So a lot of these guys are probably going to start going between like rounds 5, 6, 7. Anywhere from Deshaun Watson to Russell Wilson. We're going to draft a quarterback probably like in the 10th and 11th round. And we'll aim for guys like Josh Allen, Carson Wentz, Tom Brady, and possibly Matt Ryan. But we don't have to worry about that right now. Let's go back to our wide receivers. Nice. A lot of the guys that we have queued up are still here. This is great. I know some people were probably wondering why I didn't grab a guy like Todd Gurley before. You sometimes have to think of the health issues that some of these guys have. Todd Gurley, before the start of last year, had come up that he has like early arthritis in one of his knees. So he scored a lot of touchdowns. His fantasy numbers were still good due to his high amount of touchdowns. I don't see that happening for him with Atlanta. So I passed on him. I also passed on Amari Cooper because this might be a hot take, but I don't think he's the number one wide receiver on his team. And if you want a really hot take, he might not even be the second. But that you didn't hear that from me. That's all I'm saying. Cooper Kupp is available. We're gonna take Cooper. Look, some people don't like Cooper Kupp. I don't know why. I don't know why people don't like Cooper Kupp. He's been a stud. Maybe it's that like white boy thing. But he was the number 4 wide receiver in the league last year. And the Rams offense was stacked with players. And he still finished 4th. Brandon Cooks is gone. Todd Gurley's gone. He's going to get a lot more touches. We could possibly even get his teammate, who finished 14th. Though I don't think we're going to do that. Let's look at tight end real quick. And, here we go. Mark Andrews is there. And I think we're going to draft Mark Andrews. Like I said, wide receiver stacked. We can keep getting guys later on. But when you get a guy like Darren Waller, you know what? I'm going to go with Darren Waller. I'm biased. I think the smarter option might be Mark Andrews. But I'm pretty biased. Darren Waller has been one of my favorite players since he entered the league. Because mostly through Madden. I play a lot of like GM mode and things like that. He's probably the fastest tight end in the league. And I would always find fast tight ends in the NFL. So I'd always go for Darren Waller and he'd become some hidden gem for me. He has a really crazy story before his start in the NFL and even through his career in the NFL. He finally had a breakout year last year. Props to Darren Waller. Hope he stays healthy and does well. Hope you guys should look up Darren Waller. He has a cool interview. He did a podcast called Bussin' with the Boys. It's not his podcast, but he got interviewed during it, and he tells his whole story. And check it out. The guy's pretty dope. So I'm biased. Took Darren Waller. Now Robert Woods will not be there. So we're actually gonna go in the next our next pick, which I think is like 62-ish. We're gonna go running back again. We're gonna aim for a guy like Devin Singletary. Now he's probably gonna be gone. I think, though, I have a feeling a lot of these guys and probably another tight end. I think someone's gonna realize Mark Andrews is still there and they'll pick him up. But yeah, there you go. Robert Woods is gone. Tyler Lockett's gone. So a lot of these guys are not going to be there when we come back. We're going to aim for a guy like Stephon Diggs, Michael Gallup, Tyler Boyd, AJ Green. See, this is tough, kind of choosing between guys like these two. Because AJ Green was hurt last year. And Tyler Boyd became the number 1 option for Cincinnati. But AJ Green's back now. So I think it is tough, though, to take a risk on AJ Green because he's so injury prone. Unfortunately, I just peaked. Someone took Devin Singletary. That's okay. We're going to queue up Mark Ingram. We want him ahead of everyone else. Like I said, you want to get those running backs. So we actually could just take 2 running backs here and wait a little bit. But I don't think so, actually. It doesn't look like they are going to let that happen. So, Leonard Fournette, I do like. However, he's a great fantasy running back. I'm just scared as to how he's going to do in Tampa Bay. At first, I was excited, but when you look at the Tampa Bay running back room, you got Rojo there and LaShawn McCoy. So I think you gotta wait. If you want to take the risk, go for it. Go for it. But I'm not gonna do that. Kareem Hunt is still available. David Montgomery, I'm gonna slide on. I don't like the Chicago running backs. Raheem Mostert is nice, but even the 49ers rotate running back. So I think Mark Ingram is our guy. So we're gonna draft Mark. I'm staying away from Chicago running backs. I'm going to stay away from Denver running backs, the Tampa Bay running backs, Miami. A lot of teams that just rotate running backs, I think I'm going to stay away from. San Francisco as well. Cleveland, Kareem Hunt is a great option for them, but I think Nick Chubb is too good that he really steals a lot from him. So Kareem Hunt, I think, is rather high for him up here. I think he should be lower. So we grab our 4th running back, which is fantastic. Now I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on that 5th running back. We're gonna wait on that 5th running back, because I saw a name down there that we'll talk about later. Let's take a peek. Let me just look at the tight end situation. Cool, we're doing good. So we're going to go wide receiver. We're on the clock. Jarvis Landry had a nice year last year. Finished 12th. Was ahead of OBJ. Does that happen again? Probably not. Probably not. Though I think he's a good flex option. He's not like I don't think he's a good wide receiver 2 option for us. Though I think Stefon Diggs is, because Stefon Diggs is the clear number 1 option for Buffalo. And I've seen him. Apparently he's working very well with Josh Allen right now. So I think it's a connection that I'm going to take a bet on. So we're going to unqueue Michael Gallup. He's going to be gone. So we're going to scroll down just a tad. We're going to look at not those guys. I'm actually going to scroll down just a bit more. We're going to look at a guy like Anthony Miller, CeeDee Lamb there. We'll queue up Roby Anderson. I've heard people say Roby and some people call him Robbie, but I'm pretty sure it's Roby. Everyone else I'm kind of cool on. I'm cool on these guys. I think we're going to pick another tight end. I think we're going to aim for Tyler Higbee. I like Evan Ingram. Great player. He just can't stay healthy. So hopefully Tyler Higbee falls to us. Come on, guys. Let's look at the all. Okay. Oh, Julian Edelman. Oh, I must have missed him. Sorry about that. Marvin Jones Jr., Brandon Cooks. Here we go. Wow, I missed these guys. I don't know how I missed that. Okay. Marquise Brown, I've heard he gained weight, but like good weight. He was small. Well, one, he's short, but he was also like extremely light. He was like 165, I think he said he was playing at last year. I think he's listed around 190. So much better. He still kept his speed, which is nice, but he did get drafted. Tyler Higbee got drafted. That's okay. We're still good on tight ends. I think Marvin Jones got drafted. Okay, just don't pick one of these guys. Ooh, Julian Edelman got taken. That's okay. We're actually going to go for Brandon Cooks. He's the number 1 option. I know he didn't go well last year, but that was a stacked LA room. And I believe he was also hurt. He missed some of the year, and due to just being caution with him, they didn't let him play. He's with Houston. He's the number one option. He's going to get a lot of targets. So we're going to go with Brandon Cooks. And think about it. Brandon Cooks isn't even like on our starting team. He's a bench player. And he's going to be a high target guy. So this is good. We're doing very well. We're on the clock again. We want another running back. Or actually, can we wait? Actually, I think Phillip Lindsay might be too good to pass up. Melvin Gordon has a history of getting injured. I think right now, Phillip Lindsay we're in a good spot to pick him. And we'll be done with our running backs. And we'll have great running backs. So there we go. Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, Chris Carson, Melvin Ingram, and Phillip Lindsay. That is, wow. That's insane. That's phenomenal. So let's go back to wide receiver. We're done with running backs. We have 5. That's as much as we want to carry. We want 2 more wide receivers. And I'm cool with these guys being a little bit more risky. Because, like I said, we have 3 great wide receivers currently. Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, and Brandon Cooks. High target, high volume receivers. Now, these next 2, if you want to get more risky with them, that's okay. Like I said, you can use some of those running backs that we've drafted to be trade targets. Or like trade, just like used as bait to get a guy that you want from another team. Good trade pieces. We're doing great. Now, we're actually going to go for our quarterbacks. Here we are. Like I said, 10 and round 11. I told you guys we're going to go for our running backs there. Or I'm sorry, quarterbacks. I still like the tight end situation. We're going to queue up Jared Cook and Noah Fant. Rob, look, I know this is very enticing. I'm going to stay away from Rob for now. However, let's scroll up. Let's show more. We want, I guess I didn't queue them up. So let's look at quarterbacks. Matt Ryan's going to be good, though we have better options. I'm going to go for Tom Brady and I think Josh Allen. Why not Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz statistically had his best year last year. And he played with a bunch of scrubs. Like there were a bunch of practice squad guys. And he was amazing. And he finished, I think, at the 10th spot. Yes, 10. Josh Allen is much worse than Carson Wentz as a quarterback. However, when it comes to fantasy, Josh Allen is a stud. Like this guy, look at that little baby face right there. Look at Josh. Such a beast in fantasy. I don't know what it is. So we're going to go with Tom. Even though he do be doing some questionable things off the field. Gosh, I can't look at that man right. Okay. And then we're going to get Babyface. So, hopefully no one takes Josh Allen from us. If we don't get Josh, I think Carson Wentz is our guy. Possibly Drew Brees. But, actually, do we want Drew? I think he did miss 6 games. This is very deceiving. Ranked 21, but he missed 6 games. So that's roughly I don't know how many yards for him. He probably missed out on 1,500 yards, and I'm just throwing a wild number out there. All right, Josh Allen's still there. We're gonna grab Josh. Robbie Anderson, Mecole Hardman, Darius Slayton was picked up. That's fine by me. All right. We might go tight end with our first pick coming up at 119. Jared Cook is a phenomenal tight end. He's old at 33. For a tight end, that is old. 33 years old. However, he's probably Drew Brees' second favorite target. and he gets a lot of targets in the red zone, as you can see. He's been averaging high numbers at tight end position for touchdowns. So he might reach 9 again. I think he's going to be a top 10 tight end again. But unfortunately, he was picked up. So was Anthony Miller. But that's okay. Let's go back. Someone really had their eye on Anthony Miller. He was down here. But that's okay. It's okay. I think we're going to go with Mike Gesicki or Jack Doyle. Hayden Hurst, if he was still in Buffalo, I would say yes. Hayden Hurst, I think it's a bit risky because if he had a full offseason with Atlanta, I would say yes. But due to a shortened offseason, I think I'm going to stay away from Hayden. I don't know how his chemistry is with Matt Ryan. TJ Hockenson could definitely be better this year. I think he missed a few games, so I think he's better than what his position rank is. Does have a lot of high upside, but I think the wide receivers at Detroit are going to take too many of his targets. Mike Gesicki, though, plays for a horrible Miami squad, but he's very close to being a tight end 1. So I think we're gonna go with Mike Gesicki. However, we're gonna draft CeeDee Lamb, and I'm gonna tell you why in a second. So I did say Amari Cooper to me is borderline. Oh, let's draft Mike real quick. Don't have to talk about Mike. I told you guys why I like him. But CeeDee Lamb, I talked about in one of my videos before. He's my number 1 receiver coming out of college. This dude is a monster. Now, the Cowboys like to run 3 wide sets, so with 3 wide receivers on the field. Well, I should say Mike McCarthy has a history of being heavy on 3 wide sets. I think Dallas is going to throw the ball a lot. I think he's worth a late round pick. And think about it. If Amari Cooper or Michael Gallup gets injured, CeeDee Lamb is going to show up on the field and produce. I think this is a solid risk we can take. He's big, he's fast, and the dude catches everything. They didn't pick him at 17 to not play him. They like him, and he's going to play. I think this is a solid risk so deep into the draft. I think we can take another risk here. We're going to actually, we'll actually queue up Larry. I think Larry is still the number 2 receiver at Arizona. And Arizona is going to be throwing the ball all day. This is the air raid system in Arizona. Look, he had 109 targets last year. That's crazy. Dude can still catch. He's an incredible wide receiver. One of the greats. I think this is year 17 for him. Year 17. That's incredible. He's going to be the number 2 option. And honestly, I think he's going to do well as a number 2 option. With D-Hop taking most of the defense away from him, I think he's going to be open a lot more. I think it opens up for him. But we're going to take where are you? Justin Tucker. We're going to take Justin Tucker, guys. We're going to take a kicker. We took the best kicker available. Do we want to take Larry? Yeah, let's do it for Larry. We love Larry here. You know, we're big fans. The only thing we have left is defense. So, I'm just going to be biased and see if I can get the Bears defense. You guys know I'm a Bears fan. But you see, we went running back heavy. We have some great running backs. We also have some solid wide receivers. Very solid. We took a risk in CeeDee Lamb and see if he can produce. We took Larry Fitzgerald, who is the number 2 option and probably the most pass-heavy team in the league. And we drafted him in pick in round 14, I believe. That's pretty good. I think that's good value. And that's what you guys really have to think of. You may see, oh, the Bears got picked. That's unfortunate. We'll queue up Tampa Bay. So you do have to think about, hey, this guy is projected to get this amount of points. But you know what kind of offense they're in. He's the number 3 option on the team. Is picking him this high a good idea? And most of the time, it's probably not. So you're better off taking a risk. And like I said, some of these guys, if this were actually my team, some of them might get dropped. A guy like Larry or CeeDee. It all depends. But we do have a lot of good trade value. First of all, like, our starting team is stacked. Like, this is a heck of a squad. This is a scary squad. Not a huge big name guys, besides like Saquon and probably Tom Brady, because like Cooper Kupp and Stephon Diggs, people know about them, but for some reason they like to shy away from them. Think about it. Stephon Diggs was probably the number 2 option with Minnesota. He finished 24th. He's now the number 1 option in Buffalo. He's going to get better, guys. You got to think about things like that. Let's see. Tampa Bay is available. We're going to draft Tampa Bay. And the team's done. There we go. Saquon, Joe Mixon, Chris Carson. 3 absolute monsters. And then we still got Mark Ingram and Phillip Lindsay. These 2 are great trade pieces if you need better wide receivers. Just things like that, it's going to help you. People are going to be looking for a wide receiver, they're going to be looking for a running back. One of their big name guys is going to go down. They're going to look at the waiver wire in the free agents and be like, oh, there's no starting running backs. I got to make a trade if I want to stay competitive in the league. They're going to see your team and be like, wow, he or she's got a lot of running backs. They might need help at wide receiver, even though they already have Cooper Kupp and Stephon Diggs. Let's give them another big name player. Or you also, when you're doing a trade, make sure you're getting something of equal value. Say Mark Ingram is a top 10 running back, you better expect a top 10 wide receiver back or a top 10 player in their position. Don't do like a running back for a kicker or defense or a quarterback. Don't do that. Like, quarterbacks are pretty easy to find. Especially you usually draft 2 of them. Some people just draft 1 and that's fine. And they'll drop someone later on when their quarterback has a bye week. But don't be trading for quarterbacks. It's not that serious. The biggest position that you're probably going to need to trade for is running back or wide receiver. Tight ends, we're pretty good with Darren Waller and Mike Gesicki. We got probably the most accurate kicker in the league in Justin Tucker. And we have one heck of a defense in Tampa Bay. CeeDee Lamb we took a risk on. Larry's not even much of a risk. He produces every year. Think about it. Ooh, it's not showing up. That's a shame. I don't remember what he was last year, but I believe he had over 800 yards receiving and I believe 7 or 8 touchdowns. Can I see that number? It's not showing me. That's okay. But Larry produced, and that's what really matters. We really took one risk, guys. And that's okay. You can have fun. Have fun with this, first of all. When you're doing fantasy, just have fun. If you want to pick your favorite players, go ahead. You like a dude's name, but you don't know much about him? Screw it. Pick them. Just have fun. Go with the flow. Do what you think is going to do best. Because like I said, this isn't going to be your final team. You're going to swap players. Just have fun doing it. You know? That's all I really got for you guys today. If you like the video, I know it's different. Kind of just spewing thoughts out. Didn't have a script with me or anything. So sorry if I'm all over the place. But that's kind of how it is when you're drafting. The draft went by fast. It's usually about half an hour to draft, depending on how fast people take. But yeah, I mean, I tried my best to hit multiple spots. Talked about the players that I do like, and talked about the players that I don't like. Try to give you guys enough information. Don't want to make this video too long. So like the video, subscribe if you want to, do all that if you want. Please share with your friends though. If you have friends that are interested in this kind of stuff, please share with them. It'll make my day. If you don't do it, that's okay. Don't worry about it. I understand. But hope you have a wonderful day and see y'all next time.